We went back to Alexandria on Queen Braun's escape pod. We also brought Dagger's mother with us. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy IX. Today's episode, as we start Disc 3, is going to be a little bit of a slower one. After that climactic battle at the Ifa tree that we had last time, this is kind of a cool down, a moment for a lot of quiet revelations and some time for reflection. So to recap, Kuja assumed control of Bahamut and killed Braun, and now we are not at the Ifa tree anymore. We are back in Alexandria, where news of Queen Braun's death is spread, and the people have assembled a wreath of red roses, Queen Braun's favorite flower, for her memorial. And Dagger is now thrust into a position where she is going to be coronated soon. Oh, look who's back. It's Beatrix, Dr. Tot, and Steiner. Escorting soon-to-be Queen, Garnet, to the castle. And Tot's not quite used to calling her Queen. Remember, Tot has known Garnet since she was a kid. It's always been Princess Garnet, until a sudden, fatally turn of events at the Ifa tree. It's good to know that Steiner and Beatrix are okay, though, because we've left them alone for quite some time. And by extension, you can probably assume that Freya, who was with them, is also okay. You spend a lot of time in this game with the party split. And speaking of the party being split, we have Zidane at a bar in Alexandria moping over some unrequited love. But the whole Tantalus crew is back together for the first time in ages, including Ruby, who we just kind of left stranded in Alexandria back in Disc 1. This really weird cowgirl. Oh, and a chance for Blank and Vivi to actually get caught up. This is the best. Vivi gets along with everybody. It's great. Love that little guy. Oh yeah, the rat chick Freya. Good. We're actually getting explicit mention of her now. So now we'll be put in control of Vivi for a little bit, and we can wander around town. We'll have the run of the place. And just like that, long time no see, that is going to be for... Oh, these three! They're so psyched to be reunited! Bonero, Zanero, and Gennaro. I don't know why, but they remind me of, like, Undertale characters. Ah, man. It's great. and a bit of a shift in the mood just to bring us out of all that heaviness. This is not the shop I want to be in just yet. And now we have 2 more active time events to fly high, which is going to be for Blank and Marcus in the back alley here. And then 1 more. They're just talking about how hard Zidane is taking not being able to see Garnet. And it's not just that they can't see each other right now, but with Garnet soon to be coronated queen, Zidane doesn't feel like he's going to have much of a chance to see her again. Feels like maybe he has blown his shot to confess how he feels to her in an earnest way. He's always been flirty with her, but he hasn't been so direct in confessing his actual love. It's just been a lot of flirting, you know? I hope this is the synthesis in the weapon shop here. Looks like it. Yay, the synthesis. Angel Bliss, we need a Gladius for him. Which I think the weapon shop abuts it, so we can just go and grab a Gladius and go right back over. There are 2 or 3 things I want to get from him. And you know, while we're here, and with Garnet being prepared to be crowned the new queen and all that, and Amarant with us now, this is all reminding me of something. A weapon that we're going to be able to synthesize later on called Save the Queen. It's actually the weapon that Beatrix uses. Beatrix never actually enters our party, and nobody in our party can use her weapon. But like I said, we can synthesize it now, or we will be able to. And we actually can make some use out of it. Amarant can throw Beatrix's weapon. He can throw Save the Queen. So, do we want that healing rod? I think so. And I can't remember if I have the Ice Lance already. It's been a while since we've gotten anything for Freya, or since she's even been around in the party, so picked it up just in case. Now, I want to say this is the inn? Oh yeah, and there's something going on. Is that a fish-headed man smoking a corncob pipe? Yes, it is. Delightful. And now that we're back, we can go around town. We can do more side quests. There's the jump rope minigame that if I really felt like it, I could go and just go for all the rewards from that. I'm not going to. We could go find the Tetramaster cards, of which there are a few new ones to get in the Belfry. I think they're Hippola's stash. You know, we got a bunch of them on Disc 1. Now we'll go back for more in here in Disc 3, now that we can finally roam about Alexandria again and get, I think this one is for, it's either Ifrit and Shiva, or maybe Shiva and Rama. And speaking of side quests, Final Fantasy IX is known for having a few really obscure and difficult ones. For instance, something that we won't do because of how overwhelmingly challenging it is, and how much we would have to rush through the game just to complete it, is the side quest. Yeah, it's Shiva and Rama. The side quest for Steiner's ultimate weapon, a sword that very much looks like the Moonlight Greatsword Excalibur 2. In order to get Excalibur 2, we would have to reach the final dungeon of the game, and get to a specific room, and we would have to do that all within 12 hours of starting a new game up. So that's 12 hours to beat 3 discs and make some headway into disc 4. You basically have to speedrun it and miss out on a lot of the game in so doing. And you really have to play well up to that point too. By the way, that timer also includes the FMVs that play. The timer is ticking down during those. which isn't so much of a big deal in the PC version where you can skip them easily, but you have to go through some bullshit to skip them on the original PS1 version. Even if we wanted to, even if we weren't doing this for an LP and we didn't want to see the cutscenes, that's still even more of a stringent requirement. And that's just for the NTSC version. If you're playing this on a European PlayStation, things get even harder, because remember, PAL and NTSC have different refresh rates, which means different frame rates. 50 Hz for PAL, 60 Hz for NTSC. The internal clock is frame rate agnostic, so that means that you have less time on the PAL version of the game, which is absolutely absurd. Got an opal, a topaz, and an amethyst now. Those stones contain your power, which Braun stole from us. She did seem to come to her senses with her dying breath. Braun, that is. So yeah, even harder on the PAL version of the game. Again, not an issue in the modern, PC ports, or I think even the PS4 port. I think it's a little bit under 10 hours, so you have for the PAL version. Even harder. So we're not going to get Excalibur 2. That's fine. Over the last 2 Final Fantasy LPs, we missed plenty. But I think Excalibur 2 is noteworthy to at least point out, just for how stringent the requirements for it are. Oh, this coming up is good. I like this a whole bunch. Aiko wanting to get somebody to write a love letter to Zidane. And just conscripting Dr. Tot because he looks like a nerd. Oh, it's so precious. I'll do you one better for side quests in this game, by the way. Final Fantasy IX has an even more obscure one. One that only gained widespread notoriety, was it about 5 years ago? That would be 13 years after Final Fantasy IX came out, by the way. It wasn't quite discovered after 13 years, but virtually nobody outside of Japan knew about it. So a ship drifted ashore from a storm. Inside the ship were a woman and a girl. The woman was dead, but the girl was still breathing. Imagine my surprise as I looked into the girl's face, because the girl looked exactly like Princess Garnet, who had just passed away. With one exception. She had a horn. A human with a horn. Where had she come from? The king ordered the girl's horn removed. The girl cried out in pain. He and his wife, Queen Braun, decided to raise the girl as Princess Garnet. But the girl who spoke to me, could she be related to Princess Garnet? Dr. Tot thinks about all of this upon seeing Aiko, this girl with a horn. What a huge bombshell to just drop all of a sudden. Out of this happenstance meeting between the two. This Princess Garnet was not the original daughter, the biological daughter, of Queen Braun and the King of Alexandria. This Princess Garnet that we know was discovered in a shipwreck. This Garnet's biological mother dead, she with a horn, hailing from Madain Sari, the summoner's village. So we know what that's all about now. That's why it seems familiar. That also explains the lack of horn on Garnet and the horn on Aiko. Her horn was removed, and she became the new adoptive surrogate daughter of Braun and the King, raised as their daughter Garnet, taking the place of the daughter who had died. That is a really big revelation. Oh, and then this again, Aiko getting caught up on the wings on the back of her dress. And now she's gonna have Baku deliver the letter in her stead. So I was saying about this mysterious, obscure side quest. I think I was saying that it wasn't quite discovered 5 years ago. It had been known about outside or within Japan, but outside of Japan, nobody really knew about it. Until somebody just happened upon all of the requirements for it and wrote up a detailed walkthrough for unlocking it on GameFAQs. Now, I say that because in Japan, it was still obscure, but it was known about. Outside of Japan, the main strategy guide for this game was a flaming dumpster explosion. It detailed almost nothing. It was garbage. It sucked. In this side quest is really well buried in the game. It's buried deep in there. Like, you have to excavate this thing. The prerequisites for it are pretty arcane. We might possibly do that later, just for the novelty of it. I don't recall off the top of my head, actually, if I've already missed out on any of the prereqs. But if I haven't, then we might see it later. But that's something radical and impressive, though, that this game, 13 years on, still had some secrets to discover. At least for those of us outside of Japan who had no good guide to go on. But the thing is, isn't that really kind of heartening? Isn't that super wonderful? That you can spend dozens or hundreds of hours on a game like this, and years, a decade and change later, and come back to this thing that you love and still find something new to appreciate about it. Oh, that's great, that letter. It's quite poetic. Yeah, that's magical. It's really, really cool. It's magical. Oh, this song. Hold on. I'm gonna interrupt that. No, I'm not. Shit. This is, some overlap with the soon-to-be ending Doom LP, but in the finale, I make mention of a Doom 2 secret that was just found. After all this time, a new Doom 2 secret was just recently found. And y'all, I love that so much. People are still unearthing new things. It makes me think of all those people who are still scouring, like, Shadow of the Colossus for secrets that have been, like, lost to time. Fuck yeah. People still believe in this mystery so much, and this is all the more reason to keep believing in these mysteries and have this sense of wonder. That's so cool! I think that's the coolest thing in the world. Never ever let that sense of mystery die. Dude, everybody looks up to and respects Vivi. It's the best. So what I was about to say was, from here on out, this song that we're hearing is the new Alexandrian musical theme. It's called Unrequited Love. It's a down-tempo, sorrowful leitmotif of Zidane's theme. And we last heard this in the Black Mage Village. Now serves as the new backing music for Alexandria. So Zidane is totally lovesick. We're all gonna go finally see Garnet, we as a party. And it's going to be the first time that the 7 main party members, that's the main party minus poor old Kina, who I think is still back in Midain Sari, and who gets kind of treated as, you know, an optional, kind of Umaro-style party member. So, yeah, the 7 main party members are all gonna finally be together in one room. I don't think that's happened yet throughout the entire game. In fact, you get the final party member, Amaranth, at the ass end of Disc 2. So there would be no opportunity up to this point with how they keep the party members split up so much. And it gives everybody their own time to shine and be the focus and to develop independently from one another. So now that the whole main party is converged in one location here in Alexandria, and now that, you know, the war has evidently been called off, you get all of these intersecting storylines coming together and these new interactions and revelations that lead from them, like what we got from Dr. Tot running into Aiko, and the revelation about Garnet. You get a lot of this strong, organic storytelling now, like this therefore style storytelling. They're all here now, therefore X, Y, and Z happen. They're all like logical continuations and not just, what's the word I'm looking for? Contrivances. It's not, they're all here and then something happens. It's, they're all here, therefore, how does the story continue from here? What would logically happen with all of them in the same place? And all of these side characters interacting with characters who have never been around before, and stuff like that. Now we'll be taking the boat over to the castle side of Alexandria. And we have a few more things to grab before we actually go and see Garnet herself. For example, this lapis lazuli here behind the fountain. Then we'll be heading over to the left side, to this room on the ground floor. And where does this big glowing trident statue actually take us? Oh, this goes back to the harbor. That's not where we want to go. We want to hit this corner and grab the Leo Stellazio coin, and then take our leave from here. And with that, we can finally go north, and that takes us to the castle proper, where Steiner is escorting Aiko out. Guess he found a way to get her down from that perch below the balcony. Oh, and look at this. Look at this cast of party members all lined up at the entrance to the castle. Framed just below that portrait of Queen Braun. Ready to see Beatrix and Garnet. Look at these party members meeting each other who have never seen each other before. Some good stuff. Aiko and Amaranth are brand new to this whole scene. Amaranth's the only one who's kind of really out of place here. But maybe we'll see how he fits in to everything later on. He has a role to play, for sure. And Zidane says nothing. What a brief meeting. Like, what was even the point of arranging this? Aiko's got something to say, though. Zidane can't quite find the words, but Aiko... won't be able to wander around the world with you anymore. Oh. They're going to exchange something, though. This actually really sucks for Aiko. She finally found someone else, another summoner, and just like that, separated. I don't know if the full, like, impact of this ever really hit me, for Aiko. That's a huge bummer for her. I couldn't say anything. I had a whole speech ready for her. But it would have been a lie. How could I lie to her? Good luck, Dagger. I'll be watching you from afar. Come find me if you need someone to talk to. It's a big fat lie. That's not how I feel at all. He feels a lot more strongly than that, but couldn't find the words. And Aiko kind of gets the full extent of how Zidane feels now. And thinks he's kind of an insensitive dumbass for not speaking up, and also for kind of breaking her heart. Her poor little 6-year-old heart. Oh god, and then we get this sitcom shit out here. Oh, I love this song! I don't remember the name of it. It is the theme of hijinks. Also, it's a really good way to handle overlapping dialogue or characters cutting each other off, is literally having the dialogue boxes overlap. I like that. It's a good touch. As we know, Baku dropped the letter that Aiko had given him. And apparently it was found by Beatrix, and then tossed aside by Beatrix, and found by Blank and Marcus, now found by Steiner. So again, whole bunch of sitcom shenanigans going on. This web gets so tangled that it actually kind of loops around and becomes terrific. And now Beatrix thinks Steiner wrote the letter. Steiner thinks it was from Beatrix. It's so good. With Blank and Marcus and Aiko just watching. Until everyone is interrupted by Baku. And enough for that, we're back to unrequited love. Vivi's gonna go search for Zidane. Man, poor Aiko. And again, everyone happens to be in the same place at the same time, and Dr. Tot is looking for Aiko because he wants to talk more about her horn and the place that she comes from, Madain Sari. I'm actually hurting on the inside from being rejected. Aww. Madain Sari. I have a few questions. And since Dr. Tot helped her out, Aiko's like, yeah, sure, I'll answer some questions. Seemed like a good dude. And now we're gonna go ahead and go to Treno. And Zidane's gonna come along because there's a card game tournament, so that means next time when we get to Treno, we can... This is so stupid. It'll be like 28 episodes in, we will finally play our first game of Tetramaster. Oh, and that's a good observation that there is still mist here. It's not as dense as before, but there's still a little bit of residual mist. And we will, as usual, take the Gargan through the Gargan Route passage and go from Alexandria to Treno. Real quick and easy. But not before we get this mandatory active time event where we catch up on the activities of Zorn and Thorn, who are going to appeal to the better nature of Queen Garnet and hope that she allows them back in Alexandria despite the substantial role that they played in harming her and extracting her eidolons. And how super on board they seem to be with Kuja's and Queen Braun's whole plan. Hey, Marcus and Blank are patrolling the town, kind of trying to keep the peace though. And that causes Zorn and Thorn to flee. They don't feel safe here. Alright, so right after that mandatory active time event, we just kind of fade it in there. We're all here in Treno finally. Zidane's still trying to keep that facade up. I guess trying to keep his mind off of Garnet. Oh, and Aiko and Vivi are gonna hang out for a bit. They haven't got that much one-on-one time throughout the game. Freya's gonna go do her own thing, Amaranth's gonna go do his own thing, and today's the last day for the card game tournament registration, so that's what Zidane is gonna go do. Just as soon as we all get Aiko talking about life and love with Vivi. Those two are thick like bricks, referring to both of them, both Zidane and Garnet. Because Aiko realizes they both feel the same way about one another, but neither of them said anything. It's not just Zidane being a doofus there, it's Garnet too. So the love is not so much unrequited from either side, it's unspoken, which is somehow even dumber. But hey, they're both teenagers from vastly different backgrounds. You know how this story goes. That's gonna do it for now. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy. Have a good one, y'all.